Today's video is going to be my big long list of the ways that feminism has helped men's rights, and I had this whole thing planned, but I can't. I filmed my Meninist feminism video thinking that somewhere down the line, maybe in a week or two, someone who had problems with the feminist ideology would respond to the video. I just didn't think that it would be like a day after I posted it. So Barry made his response video and ripped apart some of my arguments, but I mean, to be fair, I made it pretty easy for him. First, I said this: feminism advocates for men's rights just as well as women's rights. And then soon after, I say this: that being said, there are some real men's issues that are just kind of swept under the rug that no one really talks about. I mean, that's a pretty hypocritical thing for me to say in a video where I'm trying to defend my views on feminism, don't you think? I even called myself a white male. The only thing more obvious than that would be if I called myself a white cis male. And that sigh at the beginning, that disappointed, we need to have a talk. I was already worried that it was going to be way too obvious. So Barry made his video, and his viewers came over to my video in droves about how Meninism wasn't a real movement, about how it was just a parody of feminism, about how it was just to troll feminists, which, I'm going to tell you something: if you're trying to troll someone, don't tell them immediately. It takes all of the air out of your balloons. I believe this thing. Oh, well, you're an idiot. You've just been trolled. That's too quick. Just let it simmer for a couple days at least. So anyway, 95% of the comments were hateful speech towards me personally, not really contributing anything to the conversation. And on my Duluth video, a couple of you said that on my Meninist video, you didn't see a lot of hateful comments. Well, that's because I have a blacklist set up for certain words on YouTube, but I did let a few through at the beginning just for good measure. But I got an email for every single hateful comment, even if they were blacklisted and not visible to anybody else seeing the video. I especially like the one that said, "Drink some bleach, boy." Oh yes, good point. Also, if you do make a point, valid or not, and you insult me, your point is moot, no matter how logical it is. TimeLord314 said it best with, "For some reason I doubt using only hyperbolic statements and then insulting people with different views will persuade many to change their opinion." Remember how I said this in my first video? I am all for exposing hypocrisy when I see it. I was talking about this, the conversation about rights. There are usually two groups, and the loudest, more hateful, most drama-filled ones are going to be the ones that get the most attention. The men talk to feminists about male rights and they get called misogynist pigs and to check their privilege. Feminists talk to men about feminism and get called feminazis and such. And it always escalates so quickly too. In my video, I said my views and I wanted to have a conversation in the comments, and wow. Really, the only one who wanted to have a conversation with me was Barry. And for the record, I've known about the feminist trolls for years. I had a friend a while back who claimed to be a Meninist, and he loved to troll the feminazis, as he said. And the guy wearing the Meninist shirt that I talked about, that never happened. I saw a few Meninist shirts when I went to college, but that's it. I knew what they stood for, but it never bothered me. People can wear whatever they want. Who am I to judge? And Barry, you said in your video that you thought I was wrong when I said this: I just don't know if the Meninist users are actually making as much progress as they think they are. And you went through your science experiment talking about how many feminists you could bother with that shirt, but that's not exactly what I meant. I believe that most men want their rights to not be infringed upon, and they wanted to be treated fairly, but the feminist movement, like it or not, is like a train. I was told time and time again over the past few days that Meninists aren't real, and that Meninism isn't a movement, but feminism is a movement, for good or for bad. So what do men have? Poking holes in the ideology of another person's movement doesn't guarantee that you are going to get those rights that you so desperately need and deserve. The original plan was to post my Meninist video and wait for someone to respond. Sorry, the atheist gamer, Barry beat you to it. And then I was going to do a few videos flip-flopping subtly back and forth, talking about how good feminism is, talking about men's rights, talking about feminism, talking about men's rights. But to be honest, there are only so many things I can say about feminism in a positive way. There have been some trickle-down effects due to the progress of feminism. For example, the Family and Medical Leave Act of 1993. It requires covered employers to offer employees job-protected, unpaid leave for medical and family reasons. Before that, your boss could legally fire you for staying home to take care of your child, your relative, yourself. Women's rights activists were at the forefront of this fight, and it finally allows workers 12 weeks of unpaid leave every 12 months. Also, the burden of war in the US military is not solely a man's responsibility. In 2013, the US Department of Defense repealed the policy banning women from joining combat roles in the US military. It opened up 237,000 military jobs and offered relief to some of the male military workers. They doubled their potential for great military leadership and took some of the burden off of the men doing dangerous missions for the US military. But these were not in pursuit of equal rights. They were in pursuit of women's rights, and men benefited, sure, but there are plenty of things that currently exist which benefit women but hurt men. That's why I did my video on the Duluth model yesterday. Domestic abuse is a big issue for me, but the way I kind of ended that video was sort of bait for this video. I'm just not a fan of labels. I feel that labels shape more than our initial perception, and they also change how we see more complex targets, like people. Frequently, society tends to associate the extreme members of a group with the rest of the members of that group. Take Muslims, for example. Though the flip side of that is if you reject a label or ideology, you'll be seen by other people as distancing yourself from that and not really agreeing with those types of people. Refusing every good idea that that group has ever had, everything that they stand for. I believe that everyone should be equal. I believe that women should have the same rights as men, and I believe that women have been treated unfairly since forever, but I don't believe that the rights of one group should infringe on the rights of another group. Bearing, I can tell that you're passionate about these types of conversations, and I can see the good in what you do. You want to have rational conversations, to pick each other's brains, to see how it works, to see if you guys can come to a reasonable agreement. But your viewers, however, are really quick to cutthroat and a little slow on the uptake. And between you and me, a lot of them were stealing your jokes and posting them in my comment section, like that cocaine one, which to be honest, I thought was hilarious. Men's rights are important to me, and there are a lot of men's rights that need focus and attention and reworking. Male suicide rate, male workplace death rate, false accusations from women about rape. There are so many conversations that we all need to have, but they need to be in a rational, sensible way. Anyway, I think that's where I'm gonna end the video. As always, my name is Travis. Thank you for listening to what I have to say, and you will see me soon.